Hey everyone, welcome to Spiritual Journey. My name is Colleen Jorgensen, and we're going to be talking about the horoscopes for Libra to Pisces. So, the reason I decided to do some horoscopes, first because they're kind of fun, but second because we have this major solar eclipse that is happening on April 8th, and it is a total eclipse. Many of you have been talking about it. Some people are traveling to locations where they're in full visibility of the total eclipse energy. This is a pretty wide swath eclipse, so even if you're out in areas like the prairies in Canada, it's still encompassing about 20%. And in some areas, probably it won't be really visible. However, this 2020 eclipse is going to really be visible on the eastern side of Canada. It makes a landfall and begins to cast a shadow across the Earth's surface from Mexico's Pacific coast, Mazatlan. It's going to cross Mazatlan, Durango, and then it's going to head up through Texas, especially San Antonio, Austin, Texas, Dallas, Texas. It's going to head off through Little Rock, Indianapolis, Buffalo, Montreal, and then crossing Newfoundland before it eventually exits out there. It's in 2017, we had another total eclipse that crossed on the opposite direction. It went from Portland all the way down through the United States and exited out by Atlanta, Georgia, out through there. So this eclipse, the center of it, has been hit by both the 2017 eclipse and this 2024 eclipse, is Carbondale, Illinois. So that whole area is kind of got a double whammy from both of these eclipses. This is also going to take in Toronto. It's pretty close there. It's going to take in Ottawa, Quebec City. So it's pretty wide and pretty significant. I think around the Ottawa area, it's going to be 80 to 90% visible. So also in the other direction, because we're heading through Detroit, is going to see some stuff, and so on the other side of Maine, because Maine is pretty important as well. So in 2017, the eclipse lasted about 2 minutes. This time in parts of Canada, it's going to last 3 minutes, and in parts of the United States, a full 4 minutes. So this is really significant. It's going to have quite a bit of punch. So what does all of this mean astrologically? And what it means, of course, is eclipses bring about changes, significant changes. As the sun is blocked from the Earth's surface in these locations, there's going to be major change. In a personal person's life, this means, of course, that many of us are going to go in different directions, because the sun is about your direction in life, your goals, your aspirations, what you really desire. It's your vitality. And so it means that something is ending and something new is about to begin. Eclipses bring about pivotal changes and pivotal events in one's life, like marriages, the birth of a child, promotion, a change of direction. So it's really a significant moment, not only astronomy-wise, but astrologically wise as well. So we're all going to be impacted by this eclipse energy, no matter where you live. But those locations are going to see significant changes to them. Now, the sun this whole event used to be feared back in ancient time because it usually meant the death of a king or the death of a leader or some important person. And that is still true today, but it doesn't necessarily mean the death of a leader or a prominent person. It could simply mean that there's going to be a change that occurs. And so this would be impactful around the Ottawa area, that we could actually see a change of government or a change of leadership. I haven't really researched whether it's going to hit Washington, but that would also indicate that there would be a significant change, or somebody would rise to prominence and somebody else would be overshadowed or forgotten. So it really does mean that, to be eclipsed, to be blanked out, to be overshadowed by someone or something else. And so you just think you get rolling, and if you're the one being eclipsed, like all of a sudden you kind of disappear and you fall into the background of what is happening. So we already did the horoscopes from Aries to Virgo, and today we're going to do Libra first. Now, Libra is a sign that is very balanced. It seeks balance. It seeks equilibrium. It's connected to the judicial system. So it's all about truth and justice and the fairness of what is happening around us. So Libras quite often have trouble making a decision because they don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, and they want to kind of keep that equilibrium or balance. This sign at 00 degrees also holds the Earth's axis. So this eclipse is going to be quite impactful for all those cardinal signs because it's happening in a cardinal sign. So those cardinal signs are, of course, Aries, which the eclipse is happening in at 19 degrees, and then Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. So those signs could feel the impact of this eclipse maybe a bit more, sort of like they're in the shadow of it. And the direct hit would be anybody who's born like on April 8th, October 8th, those times. So this eclipse here for you Libras is happening in opposition to your sign. So that could throw you out of balance, and that would be probably really uncomfortable. That something grabs your attention and you kind of need to address that imbalance. So the teeter kind of goes like this. And where that's happening, of course, is in your relationship house. It's in how you're communicating or connecting with other people. It could be very impactful to your partnerships and individuals who are very significant to you or very close to you. And it could also mean the outside world, like the outside world and all the people around you are not in alignment with your own viewpoints and how you feel that maybe the world should be connecting with one another. Because Libra rules diplomacy and diplomats who try and keep the world in balance by just being in another country and forming alliances and strong connections. So this could actually throw the world a little bit out of balance here in terms of diplomacies and connections and likability, the alliances that we have with other countries. For Libra, of course, it's going to be quite impactful for your relationship, and it could send your relationship in a whole new direction because your partner or business partner is seeking to move forward. They want something new. They want to open up new avenues. So if you're resistant to that, you're probably going to run into some difficulties because your partner is moving forward and you need to move forward with them. The reason for this is a North Node eclipse. So new doors are opening, new opportunities are happening for your partner, but also for you. That new people are coming into your life and they're saying to you, here's an opportunity. Do you want to take it? And if you hesitate in that decision making, you could lose that opportunity, which I don't want you to lose. So if your partner is really looking to expand, to step through an opportunity, you should really look at that as well. Now, there's a lot of activity here, old wounds from old relationships, old patterns that have occurred are also coming to the surface that you need to heal, and that you need to bring awareness to those, as this eclipse is going to conjunct Chiron exact on the 8th. And not only that, Mercury is going to be joined with the feisty energy of Eris, which says, yes, I will do that. I'll move through those doors. I'll get married. But I also need to identify my own sovereignty, my own right to exist, and what's in it for me. Like, how is this going to work out for me as well if I sacrifice or I quit my job to go with you to some different city. So this can really create a significant imbalance. The good news is Venus, one of the benefactors of astrology, is going to cross that threshold of the descendant on the 5th of April. And that is really going to be significant for your partner, but also for you, that you really are shining a light. You want to engage, you want to become involved, and new people want to become involved with you. So it's a really good opportunity to connect with other people, to align with other people, and not to be resistant as an opposition would suggest might occur. So this eclipse is going to be very impactful, very significant. Some of you could find yourself getting married. Some of you could find yourself in new relationships, that you're existing, maybe a business partnership. There is some connection with other people, and perhaps some of you will become diplomats yourself in other countries to try and maintain the balance of existence. Now, Mars, of course, rules this eclipse, and Mars is going to join up with Saturn in your 6th house. So recently, you may have found that you're not so motivated in terms of getting a job, finding a job. Half the time, Libra energy really doesn't know what they should be doing because they have Pisces in their 6th house. So they're really great healers. They're problem solvers. And they're really prone to doing something that is compassionate, sensitive. And that's why the Libra energy rules things like the United Nations, and to keep things in that sense of balance, but also to heal the areas of the world that are suffering. So Mars here joined with Saturn really slows down things and is making you think about, what do I want to do next? What is more productive and what should I be doing? So this could cause some of you maybe to feel like you're really squeezed into this job that you're in, that you perhaps really don't like, that there's someone in a position of authority that is really putting a lot of pressure on you to be more productive and to really step up your game, which could really be, I don't know how much more I can do, would be something that could come out of this. This could also indicate that somebody is really challenged with a coworker, or that there is some health issues that are going on with some of the Libra individuals, some inflammation, slowing down, and it's really hard to diagnose. So if you're one of those individuals, you should, you may actually go to some sort of alternative naturopathic doctor or means to kind of figure out some of that stuff. So that is really important. And that relationship or opportunity that is coming for your your relationship, that could really be impactful for your work. That, oh, my partner just got a job over in another country, and I'm going to have to quit my job in order to accommodate that. And do I want to do that? And astrologically, the answer is yes. But you may be feeling like you're losing a part of your own identity, that you're losing a part of the way you used to function in the world in order to accommodate somebody else. So that creates this should I or shouldn't I atmosphere that's going on with Libra energy. And really, if you embrace some of the excitement that is going on this month, it's really significant. Now, your partner or some of these partnerships could also kind of be going through this energy review, and where their position is maybe in the relationship, and where your position is also in the relationship or the business partnership or the connection you have with other people, because Mercury is retrograde. And Mercury is joining up with both Chiron and Eros. And this combination with this Chiron is saying, don't repeat old patterns that you have had in the past with relationships. So if you look to your past and you see that over the years, really throughout all your relationships, you develop the same pattern over and over, this is a moment in time where you should really look at that self-reflection and reaction and say, do I want to repeat this again? Or should I just move forward and take the risk that is available to me? Now, that risk kind of is beneficial to some of you because Pluto has just moved into the sign of Aquarius, which is going to blend so much better with the Libra energy in the coming year. So if you're an early born Libra, you'll be feeling some of this positive energy from Pluto and the changes and the transformations that you want to take, because Libra generally isn't a risk taker, but this time Libra could really feel comfortable with taking more of a risk and stepping their toes into waters that they've maybe never experienced or haven't felt the desire. Comfortability is something that rides with the Libra energy. But there's so many things going on here now that are really saying, life is about to change for you, but it's not necessarily as a result of you. And that means that your partner's getting opportunities. People are attracted to you. Yes, they may want to bring you into partnership with them. They see something in you that perhaps you don't see, but you're willing to take the risk and you're ready to let go of the person who used to exist. that person who maybe just rode comfortability, and if it was a safe place to be, you stayed there. So a lot is changing here. Now, when Venus gets to the North Node, that is going to bring and open up some doors for some of those offers to take place, not only for you, but for your relationship. Something is going to happen. You could meet somebody new. For some of you Libras who are single, this could really open a door for a new relationship that you are more than willing to take the risk to step through and embrace. So it is extremely exciting. On the 11th, of course, some decisions are going to be made if you or your partner are being offered something and the review process is going on. Like, what does that look like? And I think some of old ideologies are getting burnt up with this Mercury retrograde, and you're going to step through the door when Mercury goes direct on the 20th of the month. So this is a pivotal month for Libra energy. And not only that, like when Jupiter and Uranus collide on the 20th of April, and you're going to feel this energy, just like an eclipse energy on either side, where the shadow part of this, as it begins to move towards, that is going to bring some significant opportunity to increase your income. And this would be if you're looking to start a business, you could get some grants. You could also, some of you could be seeing some inheritances or people willing to invest in your projects. And that there's more capital and more accessibility. Some of you could also be stepping out and taking the risk to get your first mortgage, to take that risk and invest in an asset, housing, or a condo, or maybe a new business, piece of land, or maybe you're willing to invest also in the simplicity of just purchasing a GIC or RRSP or some other investment. Some of you also could be changing and shifting your energy with your insurance companies. Some of you are going to be getting a tax refund, or you're going to be seeing some extra money through those modalities. So also that is sparking a lot of energy because if you have a little bit more, then you're willing to take that risk and willing to step up your game. So the sun also moves into there at the exact same time on April 20th. So you could also be going, oh, I've got to do my income tax. I've got to straighten up some financial dealings. I should really be looking at, balancing my bank accounts and getting some things in order. So this could be a real opportunity that is starting to unfold for you, Libra energy. The good news is, of course, Mars is going to sextile this on the 19th, just before that happens. So some of you also could find yourself in new positions or moving into new jobs or being offered some form of work as well. This could produce some healing modalities. If you are older and you are dealing with some health issues, you could also decide that you want to spend the money and go private as well. So by the end of the month, Mars is going to join up with Neptune, and this is going to be a very creative energy for you Libras, and it's going to be spark some ideas and inspiration into maybe setting up your own business or starting to work on a new project. The full moon, of course, happens on the 23rd in the sign of Scorpio, which is also related to your income and, you know, what you're spending on. So this puts a big spotlight on there for some of those issues to take hold and take place. This is a really concentrated energy. It doesn't really go into other areas of things happening in your life. So it's really important for you to sort of acknowledge that. That moon on the 23rd is going to square Pluto, and that's going to create a pullback or pushback. Or a bit of resistance because I'm going to lose potentially my income, or what does my income look like if I just hop over to another country to grab a hold of what my partner is experiencing, or even what the vision of the partnership. So that's Libra for the month of April. And now we're going to move into Scorpio. And I'm going to be honest with you. Scorpio is quite often for me, whenever I've given horoscopes for Scorpio individuals go, that doesn't resonate with me at all. That doesn't make sense. It's not what's happening in my life. So just be aware of that. And for all you Scorpios out there, which are a fixed sign, I'm going to do the best I can to accommodate you. So Scorpio, of course, this month has a lot. Scorpio always has a lot going on. Scorpio could have felt like you were a little like under pressure, or you're under a lot of pressure for some reason, and that this, because you're always so business orientated, but you're also that need to be in control. And that's what Scorpio is really famous for. Their rebound effect and their ability to bounce back from anything that happens negatively in their life. And so what is really prominent here, of course, is that full moon that's going to arrive at 4 degrees of Scorpio on the 23rd of April. And after all of the other events, this is going to shine a light on you and say, gosh, all these things have happened. And what do I see with that? And definitely that could be extremely impactful for you to see exactly where your position is and what is happening with you as an individual, because there is a lot of individuality that is going on here with this 7 planets in the sign of Aries. Now, some of you Scorpios have or could have been dealing with some health issues, simply because there's a lot of energy riding through the health house. And so this would definitely signal that there's a lot of stuff coming in the works. And part of that connection would be because of your health, or issues that are going on with your health, that you don't have the energy, you don't have the stamina, you have been really sluggish, maybe a little burnt out, that you don't realize, because most Scorpios work really quite hard. And so this solar eclipse is going to affect that health house, and also going to affect how you interact with the world, with your job and your vocation. So this isn't necessarily your career, but it is definitely the things that you do in every ordinary life, going to work 9 to 5, the chores that we have to do around the house, you know, your cooking, paying the bills, all of those types of things are going to start to go in a new direction as things change. So I'm really hoping that it's not your health that changes this, because this is a really positive eclipse. So I think that your health actually most likely with this eclipse is going to improve. But it's going to improve most likely, and even your work situation, if you've been having problems with coworkers or you just don't like your job. There's too many jobs going on always at the same time. You're starting one job and then moving to the next and the next and the next. So you have a lot of Scorpio always has a lot of rods in the fire in relation to their career and the job that they do within their career. So things are about to change with that beautiful solar eclipse that's happening on the 8th at 19 degrees of Aries in your house of health and those that work agenda that has been on your plate. So this could actually eliminate one job and bring in a new job opportunity for you. And that would be very promising, but there's always a lag period. So this, of course, initially is going to eliminate a job. For some of you, with those mundane things in life, of course, wouldn't we all like to get rid of our housework and laundry and that? But Scorpio, some of you actually could be getting rid of that you make the decision and you start to think through things differently than you have always done with the idea or ideology that I need to do it all myself. And if I do it all myself, then I know it's going to get done right. So that modality is kind of like releasing itself, and you could be handing over the reins, maybe hiring somebody to do some of those menial jobs, like a housekeeping service or, a catering service or something like that. Your diet could also change as a result of this. And there's a great deal of healing energy that is going on. So it is past behavior because Mercury is retrograde here. And what have I been doing always with my health or in my jobs that causes this disruption, that where I'm unsatisfied, I'm really unhappy with the people I work with, I'm really unhappy with some of the things that are going on, and how is that affecting my health? What am I eating that is causing some of this discomfort in my body, or that I'm just not healthy? What am I doing? So there's a great review that's happening, and some of you actually could be breaking down your diet into these components, eliminating things and then reintroducing them to see if that has any impact on you. So that could be some of you could be eliminating gluten or dairy or some element within the diet and really doing a big, vast review of your healing process and what heals you. You could also be implementing a new exercise program, starting to move towards maybe some alternative modalities, naturopathic or holistic practices, and really reviewing that. And really, you're looking at what is best for me as an individual and where am I happiest. So that is really super important because you have so much energy just filtering through that whole region that is really sane. Now, the good news is, do I think you're going to recuperate? I do. And so Venus is moving into that area on the 5th, and this is one of the great benefacts of Venus, and this really will be positive in doing some of those healing modalities. You'll start to feel better, especially by the 17th of April. You'll start to rejuvenate some of this energy that you perhaps have been lacking. This also is in sextile to Pluto come the 6th or the very next day. And that, of course, is some changes that are also happening around the house. So I don't know why I keep seeing like allergies or there's something around you that is causing some of this discomfort. So that could also be in the workplace as well. I don't know if it's like an allergic thing or something you're ingesting. But definitely new job opportunities are available to you. You could really bring in some sort of resource or somebody else in with you to assist you with some of those jobs that you have to get done. And that's going to be quite positive. There's also a great focus on children and children's activities this month as Mars is moving through the house of children. Now, some of you could have felt since Saturn just moved in there last year that there's a great deal of pressure on you and concern for a child or maybe your children in general, that somebody has been hard on them or they're struggling with a little something, which could be a little confusing about what is going on with your children and how they're reacting within the whole situation that they possibly could have been in. Some of these children will be dealing with persons in authority or positions, which is also really quite confusing. And you don't know why this person in a position of power would be acting in such a manner. With some children who are older children or older individuals, they could be struggling with a boss or somebody also in a position of power that is kind of like really putting their thumbs down on them. Mars here will begin to activate or initiate some steps forward that is most likely going to be very positive to create a plan of action and start to move things in more of a positive direction. But you're not going to hesitate to call anybody out on these issues or situations. And also, this could be a time for some of you Scorpios to look to take the risk of investment or investing in something. And things have been kind of slow, maybe in that area, and you haven't really wanted to, or you don't know what to invest in. Like, let's face it, Scorpio quite often has a little bit of difficulty with that. So, what do I invest in? What is a good investment? Scorpio is really good at working and really good at making money, but then where do I put it? How do I manage it? And what is going to give me the best bang for my buck? So that is one of the things that Scorpio maybe hesitates to do, to take that risk of imparting or separating from their money in order to invest in something that may not give them the return that they are looking to get. So this is slowing that process down where you're really having a really good look at things. By the end of the month, when Mars travels through and joins with Neptune, you could really see some ideas or creativity emerging with some of that investment. And this could also give a lot of you, if you have younger children, that your children could be seeing like some opportunities that just come out of left field that, whoa, that's exciting for my child. There is a lot of activity going on with your children this month of April. And so just keep that in mind, whether that's grandchildren or children or whoever, there's lots happening there. Your mindset is changing a little bit here as you begin to view the world in a different way and a different perspective. And this could be coming because you're looking to change your health habits, you're looking to change your jobs, you're looking to seize on some opportunities of bringing other people in to help you. And all of that is under review as you realize that you have to change some of the ideologies and the way that you think and the way that you plan things going forward. So I hope none of you are extremely stuck where, you know, your whole lifestyle is going to change and you have to adapt to that. But you really need to stay on top of this. The eclipse happens with the North Node, and that generally opens new doors, but it's going to close doors in the way that you think. And the way this works is if you get a new job, your mind is going to have no other choice but to change perspectives, the way you view things, if you go into a whole new workplace with a whole new group of people. And speaking of a whole new group of people, you could actually experience or run into somebody that is very inspirational for you as Jupiter and Uranus join together on the 20th of April and they collide in that 7th house of relationships. So this is very beneficial for a partner and your husband or boyfriend, or maybe even the meeting of a new partner that is set to arrive just out of the blue. And it's very enlightening. You could join a whole new group of individuals and you could start to really see things through a completely different lens as this happens, but it's going to take some adjustment with you Scorpios because let's face it, sometimes you don't move very quickly. You get stuck on a certain mantra and you're stuck there. So some of these opportunities, of course, are going to, some of these old ideologies are going to happen on the 11th when Mercury in its retrograde station collides with the sun and kind of burns up some of those things that are happening, perhaps with your health or those menial jobs. This could be the completion of a job. If you work independently, the completion of an issue that you've been dealing with is starting to come to an end. And then new doors are opening and new opportunities are happening and things are being burnt up and issues are being dealt with, especially with Chiron here. And of course, we want to maintain, and Mercury is colliding with Aries, so that would mean you want to be independent, you want to exhibit your own ideologies and ideas of how you believe that you can be impactful and make a difference in your job or in your health. So that, and with coworkers as well. New coworkers could be coming in if you're staying in a job that you're already in, and you could see some sort of a promotion as well. So that is exciting. And that could arrive around the 17th when Venus collides with that North Node. And somebody really instills in you, look at you, you're in a different position now, and you're going to have to start thinking in the position that you're in at this time. So Mars, of course, is going to sextile Uranus, and Uranus is in that 7th house, and that could bring about an opportunity to take that risk to invest in something that you probably never thought you would be doing. But it also is an opportunity for your partner to maybe hear of some good news happening for them as they begin to expand. And maybe they have a new idea that is unfolding for them, and they would like to maybe implement that new idea as a career point, because many of Scorpio's partners are going to be changing careers as Pluto has moved into that sign of Aquarius right down there in your 4th house, which is the 10th house of your partner. So that would bring about significant changes that are about to unfold in your partner's career. And it could all kick off here on the 20th of April for some of those changes to happen. You yourself, of course, could be making some significant transformation and changes to your home, renovations. Maybe you're building a new house that's really expresses your own unique individuality and originality. And that, of course, would be another exciting thing that would be happening with you Scorpio individuals. So Venus is going to collide on the 21st with Chiron. And so if you are dealing with some healthy issues, you could start to feel a little bit better and sort of get a hold and a grasp of what has been going on there within the body. If you're just burnt out, you need more rest because Scorpio has a tendency to burn out. So then the spotlight's going to come on you on the 23rd, as I said at the beginning, with that full moon. And it's going to be a bit challenging. So if you are dealing with some family issues, or if you're dealing with some, not children necessarily, but family issues, or if you're dealing with some, you're going to hit a kink in the road if you're building a house or doing some of those renovations. So just be aware of that and cautious of that. But the spotlight is going to say, I really want to change the way I'm interacting with my family, maybe. And I really want to change how I view the whole thing as a whole. So if you've been struggling with some of those issues with family, if you haven't been, now is a real point of recognition that you could be dealing with some of that. So I wish you all the best, Scorpio. And if I'm wrong, just leave me a comment and tell me, hey, you got it wrong again with Scorpio. Okay, Sagittarius, you're usually one of these really vibrant, energetic, optimistic individuals. You always see the cup is half full and instead of half empty. So you're most likely extremely always very enthusiastic. You love to be active, outdoor. You're probably the jokester, and you like to be on the move, definitely. So this is a good month for you, Sagittarius, because this solar eclipse that's happening on the 8th of April is going to align in real time with that Sagittarius energy. It's really going to be a positive encounter, and most likely is going to bring you into doing some of those fun, active things that you love to do. To get out there, go to the party, go out and enjoy and have fun, go hiking, explore nature, take the risk. Sagittarius loves to take the risk. And this could be really a moment in time where you begin to change what you deem is fun. So maybe you've been hanging around with a group of people and you go, you know, I'm really sick and tired of some of this same old, and you want to spice it up a little bit. So this eclipse is going to definitely do that for you as it rides through that house of risk. Now, Sagittarius also, some of you older people, some Sagittarius are really big into sports. So this could really open up some opportunities into those fields. If you've been working really hard, maybe you are looking for a job in some of those fields that are more interesting for you, but because this is really going to change your direction. in many ways, as it's going to change the direction of many people, and the whole world is going to start to shift. So for you, Sagittarius, this is going to open up some doors for new connections, to positive energy that is fun. Open up invitations. Some of your friends definitely are going to be shifting as you start to align yourself within some of these groups or activities, which you're with them a lot more than with your old friends that you used to be with. So you start to form some really good bonds and connections with some of these individuals, and it's just enthusiastic. It's very promising. And if you are a gambler, because Sagittarius or Leos or these fire signs sometimes are gamblers, some of those Sagittarius people are going to sort of step in and be a little more lucky. Like they're just going to, their luck is going to start to increase. Sagittarius is lucky to begin with because Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius. So this is really going to open up some doors for you, whereas otherwise you could have felt like you were really restricted, or limited in some way. The thumb was maybe put down on you by someone in authority or authoritative position, and accusations could have been flowing around, or misconceptions of what was going on with you. So Mercury, of course, is here, and there's a lot of changes that are going to be happening with what you're investing in, the risks that you're taking. And if you have children, this could be instrumental in the direction of your children's future and where they're going as well. Everything's going to turn on a dime here as pivotal moments of change are going to happen, which is really exciting for Sagittarius individuals. So this eclipse is going to join up with Chiron. So if you've had any wounds or old patterns that have surfaced, you know, when you went to take a risk and it just never worked out for you, that everything always, there was some sort of interruption or somebody inhibited or stopped your momentum, that definitely is under review, and you're going to take a good hard look at yourself. Is it actually them that has stopped the momentum, or is it me that has stopped this forward motion? And I just back off because I'm once again wounded by the events that have been triggered over the last little while, or even the last lifetime of yours, or that you just pull back and you freeze. So there's a review on that about how am I reacting to the stimuli that is coming in from other people, and should I be doing this? So this is a big reflection on your performance as well, in wherever that may be, that you're ready to leap into that investment and then, oh no, I don't feel right about this. It doesn't feel right. Or I'm in the middle of a hockey game or a sporting event, and all of a sudden somebody says something, the coach says something, somebody says something, and I just back off. And then my performance, or what I'm doing, my ability to exert that huge energy of Sagittarius is just gone. So you could be reviewing a lot about yourself and your own self reaction to the stimuli that is coming in, which you have no control over necessarily. And so whether that's, oh, I'm going to invest in that piece of property, I'm so excited about that. And then somebody says, why would you invest in that? That's ridiculous. That's the stupidest thing ever. And that stops you dead in your tracks. So that is under review, those old wounds, those old patterns of exhibiting yourself. Now, this is sitting right on top of that North Node, which is opening the opportunities, opening the doors, saying, yes, I want you here. I want you to do this. I want you to invest. I want you to have fun. I want you on my team. And then all of a sudden you get punched in the gut again by some old response that keeps coming up and up. And this is the point where you go, I don't want to respond in the same manner. I don't want to communicate the same things or react in the same way with that Mercury retrograde in this at this pivotal time. So Mercury is going to be joining up with the sun and burning up some of these things definitely by the 11th. I really believe that the doors could be open, and I really believe you're going to seize the opportunity. But in the process of that, you have to be cautious that you don't slam the door shut because somebody told you some crazy thing or is wanting to limit you. Because you could really have a real struggle here, Sagittarius, with other people, friends, co-workers that are really trying to put the thumb down on you and say, stay where you are. Don't move. That's not going to work out for you. And I want you to let that go if at all possible. See, now I sound like a counselor. So try and let that go. Try and recognize it and be aware that this is going on. The good news is Venus, your popularity is going to increase. They're going to notice you. There's perhaps more revenue or benefit coming from some of these activities that you're going to be involved in. And so I want you to capitalize on that as Venus rolls in there by the 5th. And then in around that early part before the eclipse, you could actually hear some really good news that somebody is saying, hey, guess what happened? Or you get an invitation to go someplace, or you get an invitation to be involved with something. So this could be a really social month for you. And social connections and invitations definitely are on the rise here as some of your associates change and you get involved with more parties and more social connections. You could even be hosting them, some of them as well. So it's a real turning point here. And don't be shy. Sagittarius generally isn't shy. So don't be shy because of those old wounds that are coming. Now, Mars is sitting right there in that stable house of endings, that there are certain things that are endings here and certain things are ending, especially since Saturn is resting in that house of endings. Not only are some things ending, but also is a signal because Saturn is sitting right there on the IC, the helium. So that is a point of saying, I need to end this. But this is also a point where if you're a young adult or if you're a child, some issues with the parents could be going on, where they're wanting you to become more responsible. There's more pressure coming from them in that direction. Or maybe the whole unit of the family is really putting a lot of pressure on you that you need to step up your game and stop fooling around now and get down to business. So that is really emerging, but there doesn't really seem to be any consistency with it. So, that if you're a teenager and listening to me, that could be a problem because you don't really know what your parents want. What do they want? I have no idea, but I'll just give it my all and I'll try and figure that out. So there could be some issues with parents. If you're an older adult, these could be issues that are going on with your own parents, perhaps because they're older, they're perhaps struggling with something and there's more pressure there. So definitely this is really activated, and there could be some anger or some arguments that are going on, or some sort of hostility that is happening. But that would really leave you in a state of, don't know what's happening here. I don't know, like, is what should I do next? So that is something that is infiltrating your energy, and perhaps maybe a downfall to it as well. And this could be a limitation as well, not only from the friends, but also your own parents that are going, well, come on, like, you've never done that before. Why are you doing that now? And or a parent who is really pushing for you to succeed and seize opportunities that maybe you would want to take, but you're really not quite sure. So there's a lot of support from family, but it's unpredictable in many ways. It's a bit hazy. The good news is also that your health is definitely improving. You could go on some sort of a new diet, as on April 20th, Jupiter and Uranus join together, and that somebody could even offer you a job and open up doors to your own job, that you get this brilliant idea and you go, hey, I think I'm going to quit my job and I think I'm going to do this, because this is going to be way more fun and exciting than just going to work at the bank. So you could become a guide or going out hiking. These are all speculative things that I'm throwing out there. A horse trainer. Sagittarius just sometimes loves to do all those wild and crazy things, right? So this is definitely going to shoot you in a new direction with your health, and also going to shoot you in a new direction with your job. And you could be traveling as a result of a job, and more liberty to just go to different places, connect with different people, and there definitely could be a promotion or a raise in the works for you Sagittarius individual, as more money kind of begins to roll your direction. Mars is going to sextile this, so this could come in around the 19th. Venus is going to collide with that North Node to open those doors and opportunities to do some of this exciting investing and going out and exploring the opportunities that are all of a sudden unfolding for you. Mars will sextile Uranus, so that could bring about that opportunity to be recognized and open the doors for a new job creation or a promotion. Also at this time, you're getting really active, especially when it gets to that 20th of the month. Like, you're getting really motivated, your energy is increasing, you're feeling really, really good. And so that's a really positive energy, and you're really super busy. So if you're going to have a really heavy work schedule, especially if you're starting a new project at your place of employment. And there could be some new coworkers also joining you, and that's exciting for you as well. There's a little bit of adjustment there that has to take place, but overall, it's going to be really exciting. The full moon on the 23rd is going to be addressing your how you communicate, how you think of things, and how you incorporate that into your soul's journey. And it really is, because sometimes you're really intense and you really want to control your own destiny through your own mind, I guess. But this full moon is going to shine a big spotlight on there that says, you know, maybe you need to interact with the world in just a little different way, and that you need to communicate differently, and that what you're saying maybe doesn't match your actions. So make sure that what you say and what you think is actually what it is that you're doing, and that you're consistent in that energy. This is going to be actually, with Pluto moving into Aquarius, it's probably going to be pivotal in how you relate to the world and what you want to talk about and how you want to communicate. And so that definitely is shifting energies, and you're looking at more unique, original ideologies and solutions to some of your problems. So that's a good thing. We need change. You know, how I thought in my 20s is totally different than how I think now. So that is something that's going to take place, and some of your interests are going to definitely change, and you're just going to start to have different interests and different motivating thoughts. So it's the same, you know, your Sagittarius loves to learn and learn things and study things. So what you study could actually begin to wane and shift. Maybe you are always studying the markets and or some financial thing, and now you no longer have an interest in that. Whatever will be, and you're off on your horse someplace in a different direction. So I hope you enjoyed the month, Sagittarius. Lots of opportunities coming for you. Now, Capricorn. Capricorn is a really steady sign. It likes to just take its time methodically. It's usually quite consistent. Some of you Capricorns have, you know, worked your way to the top in a very strategic manner. And Capricorn, of course, is always quite consistent, dependable energy that looks to build something, but doesn't necessarily build it really quickly. And so it rules our structures, and it rules us, our physical bone structure. So Capricorn, many of you have been going through a lot of transformation, a lot of change, as Pluto has really moved you over the years since 2008, as Pluto transited across all of those 30 degrees of Capricorn, and brought about a lot of changes to the Capricorn energy and to you individuals who hold this energy. So some of you could have gone through crises, changing of jobs, which was actually a stepping stone to moving you actually probably up the ladder. But at the time, it could have been quite detrimental and quite shocking to some degree, as the whole world could have seemed to turn against you, and then you sought to gain more control of your life and started to really put your head down maybe and were forced to deal with some of these issues. So, of course, some of that could have left a lasting mark on you, could have been quite traumatic for many of you. And some of you also could have been dealing with the death and dying of who you were previously through divorce or, the loss of some kind. Only for you to rise again and really gain more power than you thought you could ever handle. So Pluto now is in the sign of Aquarius and has been transiting over the last degrees of Capricorn. So many of you Capricorns are already through some of the changes that have occurred in the traumatic events, whether they were about you or whether they were about a family member or a loved one. And so thank goodness you never want Pluto right on top of your sun, because it can make you deal with a lot of traumatic issues and struggles. So Pluto is now in Aquarius, and he arrived back in there on January 20th. For you later born Capricorns, you're only going to have one more issue with Pluto, and that's going to be from September till November 20th, and then you're all done with this Pluto. And Pluto, of course, is going to bring about some transformational energy riding around your income, what you value, what is worth your effort, and some of your assets. So some of you could start to purge some of those things that have just been overwhelming, the accumulation of some of those oddities that sometimes Capricorn likes to collect. And so some of that is going to start to change this month. There is a real good opportunity and some really positive news coming from Venus to Pluto on the 6th of April. And this, of course, could bring or generate some new income coming into a raise, perhaps. And some of you also could be capitalizing from the sale of a house, or something to do with somebody in the family has given you something, or a piece of land has boosted some of your income. So that is going to be a real bonus for you this month. So Venus has just crossed into your 4th house of family, your home, where you live, your properties, and your roots, like where you came from as well. So there's a lot of change that's happening here in this area of your life, your roots, your family connections, genealogy, and how and where you're most stabilized in your life. And that is important to come home, be stabilized, be secure, be safe. And that's really what Capricorn is always looking for. And this solar eclipse is going to happen in that area. It's really concentrated area. So right now there could be a lot going on with your family or somebody in the family, and a lot could be going on with housing projects, where you want to live, your own house, properties, and that you're really looking to end something maybe, and you're really looking maybe to move. So this could signal that you're quitting your career, you're retiring, and you're ready to move. You're ready to go in a different direction. This could also bring about the opportunity to buy another home someplace else, maybe where you used to live or your parents lived, or to move in maybe to the old family farmhouse or the old cabin that the whole family used to own and operate. So we're dealing with a lot of transformation, a lot of shifting that is taking place. If someone has passed away over the course, there could be the distribution of some of those assets that are going on with some of those properties that maybe you're going to buy the family on. You're going to buy that old cabin that has been in the family for 30 years. And so Mercury here is playing the guessing game. Should I, shouldn't I? Should I build a house? Shouldn't I? Should I move? Shouldn't I? As Mercury is stationing retrograde, and Mercury is kind of doing that whole review of that energy. So this could also bring about the reconnection to a family member that you haven't been connected with for quite some time. That they all of a sudden open the doors and say, I'm back. Will you forgive me? And I'd like to reconnect with you. You know, after all, you're my family, and there's been too much water under the bridge, and I want to just let that wound all flow down the river, and I want to reconnect with you. And that really could be instrumental in what is going on, along with new people coming into the home or the family. So the niece is getting married, the cousin has a new partner, my daughter's has a new partner, and more people are coming into the family unit, and it begins to get bigger. And how you feel about that on a personal level is going to be really instrumental. So you could all of a sudden get an invitation that says, hey, do you want to come to the family reunion, even though you've been excluded for the last 15 years, which comes maybe as a bit of a shock. But I think that you're going to embrace these new connections and the support maybe that you're getting from some of these individuals. Venus, of course, is going to move in there and connect. So maybe you got to come together over some issue with the estate or the property or whatever. Some of you could even reach out in genealogy and discover, wow, I've got a relative over here in England that I never knew existed. Or some people discover sisters and brothers they never knew existed. So that is going to be a real energy that is really concentrated in April, and the April energy. And this solar eclipse is going to change everything as it's overshadowed, and it brings in a new, totally new energy into this area. So if you are moving, if you do connect with other people, it's most likely going to be a very positive event. Some of you could be planning family reunions, could be reconnecting with some of those older connections that you used to have, and it's going to be positive, and some of those wounds are going to start to let go, even though they're triggered, and you could get that punch in the stomach to go, geez, I know what happened last time. Do I really want to take the risk and do this again? And so some of that has to be worked through. Mercury's going to connect with Chiron 3 times on his way through. And Mercury is also going to be connecting with Eris. That, yeah, okay, I'll let that water run, but I have to maintain my own autonomy, my individuality of who I am. I'm not going to get lost in the vortex anymore. And I'm not just going to do what everybody tells me to do. I want to be respected. I want to be heard. I want to be listened to. And I want the same rights as everybody else. So that is going to be significant. Some of you Capricorns that are really have always been workaholics, really concentrating on your career and your advancement in life, could be letting go of some of that and saying, I'd like to spend more time with my family. And maybe that involves pulling away from the workplace, not quitting your job, but pulling away from the workplace and saying, I think I'd like to work from home more and be more connected with the family unit so we can coagulate together and really get close. That you don't like that distancing anymore and that imbalance. So some of you could be also implementing some of those moves as well. Some of you could be completely letting go of a job and really saying, I want to be independent. I want to work on my own, and maybe I want to develop a home-based business. So that definitely is also working through the mill as Mercury goes retrograde, and what is best for you and how that fits into your own ideologies and your own ideas of how this is going to transform. Mars, of course, is in Pisces, and Mars slugs through this energy really slowly, and Mars is instrumental in what's happening with that whole unit, with the house and all, like you're so busy. And Mars is putting limitations as it collides with Saturn on the 10th, that yes, I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do it in a slower process. I'm going to slowly release my job, work from home more, and at the same time start my own independent project. And Capricorn, you're more than willing to take the risk to do this, because on the 20th, the big aspect of Jupiter and Uranus are going to collide, and you're going to say, yes, I'm going to take this risk. I'm excited about it. I have the potential of making more money by doing this, and I'm willing to invest with that. And I want to take my own autonomy, my own independence, and I want to make this work. So that there also could be brilliant ideas starting to surface about different opportunities that could be available for you that are very promising to capitalize on some of these. You may look for investors. I don't think you're going to look for partners or partnerships in this, but you could have family members involved in some way. Some of you Capricorns could see an expansion in the family that somebody's getting married, but there are more children arriving as well. So you could hear some news that, geez, my daughter is going to have a child, and that is going to open up some doors for you older Capricorns to say, I'm going to be a grandparent. For other people, this could also be a time that I have accomplished my career goals. I want to stick with the family and or a partner, my wife, and I want to have a child. So this could also bring about those younger Capricorns saying, I think I'd like to be a parent now and take on more responsibility. So there's kind of a waving back and forth, but definitely this could also bring a surprise into the works with some of those pregnancies. For some of you Capricorns, this could bring in a new romantic interest that would be pretty exciting if you're a single Capricorn. And that That's always exciting when you get into a romantic relationship. There could be some liaisons, there could be some traveling and some social activity that is also going on here, which is pretty exciting. Venus is going to join with that North Node, trigger some of this eclipse energy by the 17th, and that could open up some doors and opportunities or make some announcements as well. And by then you're pretty solidified, or you're pretty certain of the direction you're going to go in next. Mars is going to sextile this Uranus just before Jupiter and Uranus connect with some of these new ideas, this new technology, innovation, excitement, and that also spills out some avenues of planning, that yes, this is a planned event. Spontaneously, I know how I should be doing this. I've got it in the works. I know what I should be doing next. So there's a lot of planning and there's a lot of communication that is going on with you, Capricorn. This could be negotiations as well, making deals, signing papers, you know, and you have no idea. You're just going and riding with your own intuition and instinct, to say, yeah, that sounds like a really good idea. So, and well, for the most part, this is a really good month, but because of the shifting energy that is taking place, a lot of change is happening once again with you, Capricorn individuals. And some of that old geology is burning up around the 11th. The full moon is going to really put a spotlight on your co-workers, how they're going to be impacted, but also your friends and the groups of people that you generally associate with. Most of the time for Capricorns, this group that you gravitate to are generally really intense individuals, and they're serious or more serious about things which you like. And so this full moon, definitely, you could have a friend that's asking you to borrow some money from you. So just be cautiously aware of that. And or that you find that you're the one who always pays for everything whenever you go out. So you're most likely wanting to put a stop to that energy, that you just don't really want to do that. And that could cause some real awareness to take place about who are these people, and maybe I need to move aside and start to gather around and start to do some different activities with some different people, like your family, which normally was never necessarily your style. So I will leave you with that, Capricorn. Good luck with everything. Leave me a comment if you like about what is happening there. So, Aquarius, you guys are kind of the talk of the town. And the reason you're the talk of the town in the whole Aquarius energy is Aquarius has been quite pivotal in many of the new energy that is unfolding, which began on December 20th of 2020 at the winter solstice, when Jupiter and Saturn came together in the sign of Aquarius. And then we had Pluto begin to transit last year in March, first to make his first ingress into the sign of Aquarius. And then we have the whole air element and era emerging in the sign of Aquarius. So this is pivotal energy, and everybody is talking about you. So Aquarius energy is quite often about wanting to connect people together, as the internet did, connected us all together on a global scale, but we don't necessarily know each other when we're communicating out there in Never Never Land. So Aquarius is a sign that wants us to combine us, but yet it also is a sign that wants its own independence, its own freedom, and it wants its own identity. So Aquarius is very horizontal, of equality, equal rights. Aquarius fights for the underdog. Aquarius doesn't want to be totally attached to something and committed. It wants that freedom of versatility and the ability to move around. So that's why the hippie connotation is associated with Aquarius, even though the hippie age actually happened in Virgo. But we associate that Aquarius, the dawning of the age of Aquarius, which we are now in. So the whole structure of restrictions and guidance and following a certain path is going to fall by the wayside as we're allowed more, and we want, as humans, we want more ability to direct our own paths and our own lifestyle. So this is due to Pluto, which has just entered into the sign of Aquarius. Now, Aquarius is about community. There's little doubt. Aquarius is about gathering around, but not holding people necessarily, that people can actually leave the community or come back or assist or do something else. This may also transform and change the way people look at astrology. And that is something for me that's really exciting. And more people are falling into the Aquarius energy of that, metaphysical or occult, different belief systems that are beginning to emerge. And lots of that is going around. So Aquarius really holds this energy of, I want to choose for myself, but I also want to choose so I'm not really necessarily impacting anybody else in a negative fashion or way. But I also want everybody to have the same rights as I do, instead of the hierarchy of the earth element and how that functions. So that is really, really promising in many, many ways. Certainly very liberating, and certainly is striving towards society that brings inequality into the equation. So hopefully that doesn't emerge as racism, that, you're being racist. And we start to use that as a mantra or a chant into getting what we want. We don't want that, but that could emerge in this vortex as we move from the earth element into the air element, and the chant of equality and equal rights, to be identified as an individual, as a person, holding your own sovereignty. And whether that's an individual with a group or not, is going to be addressed. So it's exciting. There are many changes coming for many of you Aquarius individuals as Pluto begins to transform and change the landscape of your lives. And it's going to shoot you in a new direction wherever you land in Aquarius, as Pluto crosses your sun, and most likely that could bring about a change of career, a change in a totally different direction as things begin to fall away and end, and new things begin, as what a solar eclipse is going to do for this month in April, solar eclipses do the same thing. They bring about pivotal moments in our lives that shoot us in like a elastic band into a new direction. So this Aquarius energy, of course, is very unique, very original, and it's your own Aquarius. So I would embrace that. Many of you this month could have visions of moving, and that you just want or need something different, that you'd like to maybe even just get out of, not just move into a house across town, but you actually want to move to a different province. You actually are seeking and looking for a place to live, maybe in a different country. And you're looking to see what's out there. And this could be the month that you go, I got it. I know exactly where it is that I would like to move. And where I can see myself living and functioning in the foreseeable future. So this eclipse is going to happen, and it's going to be very active. You're going to be very busy this month. There's a lot of information that is coming into you, Aquarius. There's new promotions, new opportunities. There's going to be offers. There's going to be some good news. And you could be a little overwhelmed with being on the computer. Maybe you're in social media. Maybe you develop some of these technologies and platforms. Maybe you're a creator in some of these technologies. And so there's a lot going on with you in terms of all of this communication, whether it's on the computer, on the telephone, on the internet. Maybe you're traveling or you need to travel to various different locations. There's a lot of teaching here, and there's a lot of learning associated with this. And Aquarius individuals are also probably connecting with their siblings and cousins. So there could be more of a connection with your sisters and brothers, and surprisingly so, because maybe you have been a little disconnected with some of those associations. There's a lot of planning here, strategically planning, and some of this planning is involving finances and what you're capable of affording to implement some of these plans and projects and innovative ideas into the work. So whether you're a drafter or working with computers, or maybe you're a teacher, there's a lot going on and a lot of opportunities that are filtering in. You could also be purchasing a new vehicle, or looking to buy a new vehicle, or purchasing a new laptop where the whole thing just disintegrates and you have no other choice but to buy one. You do maybe need to watch for accidents because your head's in the clouds. So you don't want to wreck that vehicle and then find you've got to buy another one. So just to be cautious of that. This is a real me energy. Like, what do I want? What is my plan for my future? What vision do I have? And who do I want to work with or connect with or share that vision or idea or that plan with? So this is starting to open up a lot of new doors for you. As one thing is finishing up, another thing is beginning to open up. And most Aquarius people do like to express themselves. So maybe you're thinking about writing a book, maybe you're thinking about starting that blog, or getting on YouTube, or beginning some of those activities as well, because you have something to say that is worth listening to. So be open-minded to these opportunities. Now, Mercury is retrograde in there. So it's kind of like, oh, I have this brilliant idea. And then you write it all down, you scrunch up the paper and you throw it in the garbage and say, that's the stupidest thing I ever thought of. So some of that is also going on with this Mercury retrograde. There's a bit of indecision here, a lack of foresight maybe of where it is that you want to plan your next venture and your next direction in. And so that rides with that Mercury retrograde, which is over around the 20th of April, just when Jupiter and Uranus collide. So that is really important to be aware of, because Mercury is going to join up with that Chiron and is going to join up with that independence of Eris. And those two are going to say, can I get over this crunch, this thing that I always feel insecure about what I'm saying, and I just want to crumple the paper up and throw it in the garbage and just never revisit that again. And that really takes a lot of courage to really trust that of what your inspirations and your idea and the muses that are giving you these ideas, and really how that begins to transform your life heading into the future. Because it's kind of vague. It's on the periphery of, yes, I could do this, but will this make me any profit? Could I make a living off of this? And does this make sense to do this? So you're really hard on yourself in that way, that you're limiting yourself, because I have to make a living and I have to support myself and I have to create this revenue, and I'm on this really strict budget. So how is this going to work out, and how can I incorporate it into my life? And then those old wounds that everything you ever tried never worked out. You know, somebody told you that's stupid, don't do that. So that is also coming in. Or it could be a bit more challenging, that you don't know how to implement these things, especially for maybe older Aquarius individuals, that they want and have something to say, but they don't know how to run the program on. They don't know how to put it on a channel, or so they really struggle with some of those concepts and ideas. Unbeknownst to a lot of people who think that Aquarius are really good at technology, some of them are not, because they just simply don't know the steps required to get from point A to point B. So this is a really activated thing. If you're looking to, maybe you just want to write that poem and send it into a magazine, or you just want to write that article, or you just want to post it on Facebook and that's all you want to do. But this could really open up some doors for you, and what you're saying could really make a difference. So what you're saying could really be impactful, and most likely glean some new opportunities coming in. Like, who is that? I want to get to know them, or I want to follow them. So Venus, of course, moves in here. This could bring some really positive news to you around the beginning of the month. And you could also get some invitations, or somebody could be offering you something that you're kind of sitting back with and going, I wonder if I should accept that. So that is really positive. And then on the 8th, we have that massive new moon. So the seeds are just being planted here, and it's slow. It could be slower to manifest than you think, but this is a pivotal point in your life where you start to think differently, and you could end up in a totally different place as a result of this. You know, and it's so weird that I'm thinking of this, but I know people who actually were driving down the road heading to a certain place. I know a woman who was going from British Columbia, and she was driving back to Ontario, and her car broke down. And she ended up living the rest of her life in the town that her car broke down in. And now I've heard this story twice. So maybe it's faded for some of these people, but definitely because Aquarius holds that unusual energy, that do watch for that if you want to stay in that same town or if you want to fix that car and get moving along. But definitely, this is a year of significant changes unfolding for you. Saturn, of course, is joining up with Saturn on the 10th, and this really causes some restrictions, budget cuts. Maybe your income is slower than usual, and you just could feel like you're feeling the pinch, because this year with Saturn, and even last year, you could have felt like your budget, your income was slowing down, or that you needed to create a budget, that no more just money flowing through your fingers. So this could be a time of that review about the potential opportunities that are coming about. Can I afford this? And maybe I need to save in order to do this. So that is significant. By the 11th, the sun is going to join that Mercury, and it's really going to begin the process of ending some things that perhaps you've been working on that are coming to an end, and new opportunities are unfolding for you, or new invitations are arising. And really, like, I'm done now, on to the next thing. So Venus is going to join that North Node, and this is a pivotal moment, really, that triggers this solar eclipse and really swings those doors open. At the same time, you could really see that you are struggling. Maybe you've wrote that book, but you're struggling with, how do I get it published? And you could be moving on, and searching for different avenues of that technology to emerge in your life, that you're just getting rid of people. Many of you Aquarius people could also be finishing up university degrees. You're done. It's time to grow up, maybe, and make a plan for the future. Stick around home, less traveling, and that you're not so eager to learn any more massive things, that you're kind of finished with that mantra, and you're done. So if you're dealing with lawyers or bigger issues, those things are coming to an end, and you're finishing up and wrapping those things up as new information comes forward and you start to make new plans. So Mercury is going to join with Venus, and Mars is going to sextile Uranus. So this is when those new plans begin to unfold, that you kind of have a really good handle on how you're going to implement them, what the agenda is, how it's going to work. Maybe the documents or the agreements get signed, and there's a real opportunity here as Jupiter and Uranus join together, and you just could be working more from home. There could be some exciting news about building a new house, a new development, and you could be moving, that you found that perfect place, and you're ready to venture forward and capitalize on maybe a piece of property that has become available for you to purchase, that is affordable and right in line with that breaking away and making the changes in your life. So this is super exciting for you. It could also bring new people into the family. new connections being made. Maybe you and your husband are buying or purchasing your new house for the very first time. And it's really pivotal energy of aha moments that are transpiring. The sun also moves in there. So if you're a couple and your mother or father could be coming to visit, there's more company coming to the home here, and announcements being made that people are coming to visit that are related to the family and family unit housing. We got that big old full moon shining down on your popularity, your status in life, which seems to be that you would like to change that status. No, I'm not the secretary at the bank. I'm now going to change and do something different. I actually have some opportunities. So you're really going to shine here in your career during this. And there could be some significant changes that you implement for change. So whether it's that you just want to transfer to a new location or you just want to completely change your job, you're kind of a lone wolf out there during that full moon, and could feel like you're fighting against a whole group of people around the home and other people that are saying, don't do that, like that's silly. But you have a real desire to make some of those pivotal changes even in your career. There's a lot of inspiration maybe to generate new income, and definitely you're full of inspiration and ideas to generate possibly new income, but more importantly, to really make you feel like you're creating something and that you're really of value, which sometimes that evades the Aquarius energy, that they don't really know where they belong or if they're really valued. So I just want you to know that there's definitely some ideas emerging here that, of course, you will be valued, and there may be more hard work in store for you, but your life is about to change and transform. So good luck, Aquarius. Now, as always, I have a good friend who is Pisces, and she always says, Colleen, I'm always last. So sometimes in this circle, I do Pisces first. But in this case, unfortunately, for all you Pisces out there, you have to wait to the bitter end, because Pisces is a sign of endings, but it's also a sign of gestation and planting the seeds for the birth of something new in Aquarius. So we're really at that stage here with Pisces, in that gestational stage where you are trying to plant the seeds for something new to emerge within your life. And that is going to be exciting for most of you Pisces individual. For a long time, Neptune, your ruling planet, has been sliding through your sign, and Neptune now is at the end or latter part of Pisces. So those individuals that are born just before the spring solstice, or equinox, sorry, those individuals will be feeling the impact of Neptune. And this could, of course, be bringing some bizarre events into your life that are unusual. It can be very inspirational, though, and enlightening in some ways. But all of these heavier planets, Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, Jupiter and Saturn, they all put some sort of real long-term pressure on us. And of course, you're a sign of the faith and of healing. And so this generally is going to really speak about what you believe in and your identity or it has. And it could have put you in positions where you really needed a lot of faith in order to get through whatever situation you were involved in. But it could have really spurred you on to have a lot of insight, depth, psychic connection, empathy, and compassion and sympathy, which is often a characteristic of Pisces. And so Pisces is a dual fish. So there will be two of you out there, same with Gemini, maybe one that is more sensitive, one that is the victim, and one that is the savior. In your life, you'll generally merge these two energies into some cohesive thing. So some of you could have been experienced victimization by somebody or something through this Neptune transit. So right now, Saturn has just popped into this energy of yours, which has given you a bit of a reality check. Last year, as Saturn started to infiltrate and say, okay, now you can't be doing this anymore. The world is out there. The world needs to be embraced. You need to embrace it. You can no longer hide. And you need to face reality as reality is. So this could have dumped a whole lot more responsibility on you after your perhaps elusive energy that was going on. That, whoa, like I believed I was living in this, and now I'm way over here in something different. So this is a really strong energy which says you have to take on more responsibility. The world now is at the threshold of greeting you, and you've been promoted now. You have a new responsibility. You've started this new business. You have to work it, finish it. And so many of you Pisces individuals are most likely finding that you're a little overwhelmed with too much. So this could also be that some of you Pisces have become new parents. There's you got to step up your game. Some of you have taken on too much, and you should really be wary of that. And so it's a tough slug that's happening. And plus the fact you don't really know the parameters, because Pisces people, whatever, I'll go here, I'll do this, sometimes they don't have any necessary orientation to their positioning. So that big eclipse is going to happen for you in a very exciting fashion, because many Pisces people could have been struggling with financial issues. And this North Node solar eclipse is certainly going to open up the doors of a new stream of revenue. And that is one of the big positives of this solar eclipse for Pisces. And it's also then there's also this, well, my income is increasing, but I have to review how I'm going to manage some of this budget and this income of mine. And Mercury retrograde riding through this house of finance is definitely on the hunt. And you've started to realize that on March 19th that, hey, I think I need to budget somehow, because I've got taxes to pay if you run your own business. And oh, I never saved up for that. So Mercury retrograde here is definitely going to do a big review of how Pisces manages their money on a personal level. What do I do with my money? Maybe not the money you share to pay bills and support the family and all that, but what do I want to do with my money? So, and especially with this new revenue stream that seems to be kind of all your own doing. So that becomes a really important part of your energy and where you're headed in April. So the good news is, of course, you're already starting to feel a bit more confident. Some new planning and new things have been put in place. Somebody could have handed you a big new project and said, manage it. And you kind of go, where do I start? Where do I even begin? But I need to take this, or I want to take this on because this is going to create some new income for me. And I like it. I want to do it. So there could be some haze that's going on there and a lack of confusion, trust. Pisces has to trust themselves. So Venus is going to march into the Aries energy and birth some of this gestational seeds that you have been rolling around that you want to implement. And that is going to start to increase some revenue streams that you didn't necessarily know were available to you previously. So there could be a woman or another woman involved that kind of partners up with you to some degree and says, yeah, I'll come in, I'll invest in that, I'll put some money into that. But you're going to be hesitant to do that. And the reason is because of some of those old wounds that maybe somebody took advantage of you, that you really, really trusted somebody and it never turned out the way you thought it was going to be. So I don't know if you're necessarily going to do that. And that could really be reflected or a decision made about that come the end of the month on the 19th, that you go, no, I think I'm going to just pass on that. But that individual goes, okay, maybe you don't want me involved, but I'll certainly get you some work and I'll send some people your way. So the word starts to get out, and that word is going to help you to generate some of this income as your popularity begins to increase. Because this solar eclipse is going to align really well with your career point, and you're most likely going to see some benefits as a result of that. And some new work projects are also going to come your way, and the possibility of a new job. So this is a really positive energy. The bad thing is about it is that Chiron, and that 3 passes that Mercury is going to make to Chiron, that you're personally going to have to do some self-reflection in how you work with this new revenue stream and how you value yourself. So if you're running your own business, you have to put a value on your services or the things that you do. And you could really struggle with some of that value system and what is the price I should be charging. And so that's going to take a bit to review and work through. But by the 11th, some of that is going to start to come together. And then, of course, the Venus and your popularity will start to increase because Venus is going to join up with that North Node, and the doors are going to fling open and more people are going to be passing your name around to do some of these services. So it's a really exciting. There's a lot of work to be done here, Pisces. But maybe you're getting used to that isolation to some degree, and having to separate yourself from your loved ones or the people that you want to hang around with or maybe socialize with because you're busy working. And there's not enough hours in the day, really, Pisces, for you to do some of the socializing and energy that you have done. And so, yeah, anyway, then you have Mercury joining up with Venus, and you have Mars that's going to sextile Uranus just prior to Uranus and Jupiter connecting in that magical energy of innovation, new ideas, spontaneous expansion. And that is really positive because you could really hear some good news around this 19th, 20th date. And like I say, I believe there could be some woman involved here who is promoting you or is talking about you or is directing other people towards you uh, in some fashion. Some of you could be getting a raise or new revenue is coming in because you have a new career or there has been a promotion or a new job that has occurred. And by the 20th, when Uranus and Jupiter join together, you could all of a sudden get this really brilliant idea. You could really feel like you're really energized to implement some new idea or creative venture that you have been maybe thinking about for a while, but it's just been on the periphery and but now you're most likely the doors are opened, the opportunity is there, and you go, yeah, I'm going to do it. And that is going to bring about a really good opportunity for you, which is going to propel you into 2025 and 2026. So the sun moves through there as well. So you could be all planning events, hosting events. You could be implementing some sort of fair, social gathering, something to do with maybe a lot of people coming around. You could be also all of a sudden your popularity, if you have a YouTube station, begins to increase and more people want to listen to you. You could be spewing out new ideas, new ways and technologies of working with various things. And you could be implementing new programs, new technologies into your workplace and learning about some of those new things, whether it's a new job or your own business, or maybe it's both that you're doing all at the same time. But definitely there is also a connection to sisters and brothers and the connection to cousins as well. Writing letters or receiving phone calls from people that like, who are you and where do you belong in the family? So that is really exciting as new information starts to come in. Your mind begins to transform and change because Pluto is in the sign of Aquarius. So that innovative thinking of yours begins to really emerge. You know, even like here is sometimes the technologist, the person, Pisces is the person with some of this techie talent. And so some of these ideas, how do I implement this? How do I put this on from an idea into my reality, which you're really going to be good with because you're now reality based and you can tangibly pull some of those ideas into your reality and actually create them. So how to implement them. So this is a really positive energy that is emerging for you, Pisces. You should always take the time, Pisces, to back up a little bit as when things begin to unfold really fast, because you can get really overwhelmed with some things. So if you've been saving a lot of money in the future, I could see that you could actually have the opportunity to purchase a new home or buy a place, or that the family is increasing. You've connected with somebody and you want to move in with them, and that is coming in the future. It's coming this year, but that is really pivotal also, because you have this new revenue stream that is coming in, and you're going to take what you have in your savings, maybe to purchase this piece of property or this little house in the middle of nowhere. And so you could find that some of the, even though you have new revenue stream and your income is, you're not putting it back into the bank just as in holdings. You're actually putting it someplace else, maybe to build your business, invest in some property, but you're not putting it back. You could also find that you're changing banks, that you don't really have the opportunities. It's going to be hard for you to get loans. And so you have to do your due diligence and really write out a business plan or write out a formula as to why you need that. You're going to have to work hard in order to get some of those mortgages. It doesn't mean you can't get them. And that also you could find that you're moving insurance companies, and that you may be cash poor, but you're putting your money into some other investments that you hope to pay off. And there's definitely more traveling here that's going on. You're on the go. You're going to be busy. Lots of people are talking to you. You could be invited to do seminars or invited to speak at certain events. So be prepared for that. Put you up on the stage there. And yeah, it really looks really quite positive in many ways. It is in, from me onward, that you could see that there is like, this project is costing me too much money. I'm putting too much money over here, or this is just too much. I've got too much on the go, and you want to pull back and you want to just take some isolation and come back into yourself, your home, and just to recuperate a little bit. So it's pretty exciting. There's lots going on for you, Pisces, and I wish you all the best. Let me know how it all goes. So those are your horoscopes for April, and how this solar eclipse is really going to impact you, and what doors are going to be opening and what doors are going to be closing, and what possibility of events are going to be taken in your life. Now, just a reminder, as the world goes, these are potentials. These are not written in stone. We still have something that is known as free will, and we do have choices that we make. So if all of a sudden you go, none of that happened to me, it could be because your rising sign is different than your sun sign, and also the fact that that opportunity came, but you chose to turn it down. You made the choice, and or maybe you just skimmed by it and never noticed it. So awareness is everything, as we know, with the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction emerging. So thank you for joining me, and I will be in touch with you in some form, in some manner again. Have a great day. Bye-bye.